And what I would like to do, as the other two speakers have said already, is we are in the process of putting in a bid and firming it up over the next few months. And so I think it would be a really useful opportunity for me to hear your points of views and your suggestions. So just a little bit of background first. Well, I'm going to, before that, in terms of the wealth creation, we've heard of some elements of wealth creation and the AHSN in terms of savings, in terms of making people healthy and making our employment force healthy. I'm going to look at one particular aspect of the challenge in terms of wealth creation, but I will lay the background to our bid first over the course of a few slides. So we submitted our prospectus on the 1st of October. We are due for a feedback interview on the 20th of November, and then we're still uncertain as to when we'll have a formal interview. It is proposed that the 15 AHSNs will be designated by the first quarter of 2013, and so we are currently in a transition phase, looking to be ready to start by the 1st of April 2013 without being confirmed as having been designated. It's a rather difficult period of time. AHSN covers a patch of several counties, a bit of Bedfordshire, Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, Milton Keynes and Oxfordshire, what used to in the old days predominantly be called the Thames Valley, and it's the Thames Valley and a little bit more. And in addition to that, simply because we have on our borders partners who have a lot of interaction with us, we have affiliates in the south of Northamptonshire, South Warwickshire, the east of Gloucestershire and Swindon. And that brings together a population without the affiliates of about 3 million. As I said, it's a coherent geography which is based on established and developing patient flows. So that's the reason for putting an AHSN bid based on this geography. It's pretty much a geography that has a mid to large sized towns and small cities like Oxford, surrounded by a large rural hinterland, and it's a large rural hinterland that obviously provides much of the land area in the AHSN. And it's one of relative affluence with pockets of significant deprivation, with a high social and healthcare demand. We have 6 acute trusts with 5 further trusts as affiliates, 4 mental health and community trusts, all the clinical commissioning groups in the area, the local county councils, 2 private healthcare providers, and 8 universities, and partners from life science clusters in the area. So that makes up the membership of AHSN. And this is the vision, and I think it goes very much along the lines that Des was describing a little bit earlier. Our vision is to deliver best care through a sustainable population-centered system that ensures equity of access for patients using continuous learning and research-focused network. Now, this is pretty much the vision of all the AHSNs. But I think more importantly, we see that bit as the important bit, and what follows as something that follows from best care, and it'll lead to new opportunities to create wealth by healthcare innovation. And when I read prospectuses of some of the other AHSNs, I think there's less of an imbalance between the two, and many AHSNs are focusing or putting a lot more emphasis on creation of wealth rather than delivering best care. But that's a personal point of view. So we're working through 10 clinical networks, and again, we look to provide this best care through a clinic, through involving the clinicians rather than a non-clinical workforce. We hope to have most of the work of the AHSN delivered by clinicians working both horizontally and vertically in an integrated fashion. and they will interact with 6 cross-cutting themes. And I think for the purpose of the audience today, the important cross-cutting themes, there are 3 important cross-cutting themes, and they are technologies, medical technologies and informatics, genomics, and knowledge management. And that matrix where the cross-cutting themes interact with the clinical networks, that matrix then will be supported by a research and development program, what our educational and training program, which we call continuous learning program, and then here's the one that is relevant for today, the Wealth Creation and Healthcare Innovation Program. And so maybe I should talk a little bit more about that. That is being led by a Centre for Accelerated Medical Innovation that is centered at the University of Oxford, CAMI. So individuals in that are leading our wealth creation program, and it includes membership from providers, commissioners, the higher education institutes, research and development, and our LETBs, and of course the life science industry. And we are in the process through a number of open events trying to identify how we can include life science industrial partners into membership of this program, and how they can be involved in the governance of the AHSN. And I think it would be true to say that most AHSNs are going through that process. The vision of this particular program is a profusion of healthcare innovations that spring from our geography and are rapidly tested through trials and adopted within the NHS to create strong and successful local businesses to support the further commercialization of the new services and products to the rest of the UK and the world. So pretty much along the lines of what we've heard earlier today. Now, we think we have some significant assets within the AHSN. The university itself is globally #1 for clinical and preclinical healthcare. On the RAE, the latest RAE is stating it has it's in the top 5 for all the 11 relevant medical and biosciences areas, and first in 4 of those. In the country, there are about 2,500 individuals in research. There are 29 fellows of the Royal Society and about 100 fellows of the Academy of Medical Sciences, about 10% in the country. And in the last 5 years, up to 2011, 1.2 billion of external research funding was put in at Oxford, which included 178 million from industry. And there are a number of externally funded research centers there. So there's a significant research platform there. The hospitals at Oxford provide secondary and tertiary care. There's an Oxford BRC and a BRU. And again, the hospital has a number of active clinical studies. And between the two of them, they put in 350 million in capital investment in the last decade, 125 million from the university and 65 million from the hospital. Now, we are in the process of trying to, and I think all AHSNs are doing this, trying to get some baseline information right across a geographical patch. This information obviously is around the larger engine in the AHSN, but we are in the process of identifying what the numbers are right across the patch. And I think one of the things that I've discovered is that that data is not readily available in many institutions. We have a life science cluster around there producing about 7,200 jobs, 160 companies, 24 startups between 2008 and 2010, and in 2010 $160 million was raised within that cluster. Now, I put this statement up not out of smugness, but just to say that although it is a strong life science business ecosystem, it does not match what's going on in the States. It really doesn't. So despite expertise, that should make us at the higher echelons of the world rankings, we're not. And why is this? And this is what I'd like to discuss with you. And these are some of the suggestions. I think there's a move in the life science industry and business sector towards consolidation. There are a lot of mergers and acquisitions, particularly in the pharmaceutical companies. There's cost-cutting and outsourcing of research and development. And finance is a significant barrier now for small firms. Venture capital is much, much harder to get these days. So it appears to us that the current business model, which is to incubate research, to incubate in research science parks, which are funded by venture capital, which then sell to larger firms to get a return for their investors, is not working. And there are very few mid-sized commercial companies now coming out of that kind of model. And we feel that the time has come for a change in the model. The model needs to, as David was saying earlier, draw out and exploit intellectual property from the hubs and create an environment for small companies to operate with a lower cost base. We need to have easy access to affordable and flexible laboratory and office premises for startups. They've got to have access to business innovation support services, shared management services, coaching and mentoring, access to specialist equipment, access to finance, all these things that they don't necessarily have to duplicate each time amongst all of them. And what in our area happens is that we have some science parks, Milton Park, Oxford Science Park, for instance, but all of these are offering large facilities for established firms. They're not offering facilities for small firms. There's one in Oxfordshire that does that diagnostic Diagon Ox, which is a bioscience incubator in the north part of the county, and that is consistently full. So it's tremendously popular, and it's not fulfilling all the demand that we have locally. So we think there is a great demand for putting together a facility that provides and addresses these issues right at the top, that provides also a demand for a central hub. We think it often is much more successful for small companies to be at the center of things, close to where the research is going on and close to where the care is going on, rather being far away. And with this, we are exploring the possibility of putting together a 60,000 square foot incubator in Oxford, requiring investment of about £35 million. But with that, we would hope to have about 18,000 square foot available for small companies to come in and use on a very flexible basis. Some of it will be reserved for mid-sized companies, and some of the remaining 18,000 will go towards the support services and creating that large area in which a lot of networking can go on. And this, we feel, might offer a solution, might offer a different model to the model that we've been used to in the past, which is proving to be less successful these days. But I'd be grateful for your views about this and about anything else in the way we could work together to help in the creation of employment and wealth creating opportunities within all of our AHSNs. Thank you very much.
Thank you,